Hello to the one person that's here. Going to get this up to where I can actually see what's going on, see what's being said in the chat. If there's anything being said in the chat, then I will be able to, yeah, so hold on. Computer's loading up. Whew, that was some Xfinity race ending, huh? I mean, a pretty good race, obviously, but a pretty scary ending with Austin, not Austin Hill, he won the race, but with Myatt Snider going into the fence, it's pretty freaky. Especially when you go, straight to the catch fence. He was literally, his car was like, his nose was pointing to the ground, and he hit the catch fence with the back of his car, and then he hit it with the front of his car. I mean, his engine flew out of the car. And then his rear, I guess, axle was also ripped off. I mean, everything that hit the catch fence was ripped off, but Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan were sitting right there where the crash happened, and Bubba shared some pictures of it. Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. I'm trying to find that picture so I can show you guys real quick. But yeah, it's pretty freaky pictures if it would load. So here are the pictures. So here's one of them. There's one of the pictures of the catch fence. And then, so like that's like the fuel the fuel entry where they put the can in. That's the Green American Ethanol thing. That's up in the catch fence. And then, yeah, there's the opening right there in the catch fence. All that opening right there. So, yeah, pretty freaky wreck there. But Austin Hill's your winner. First career win in the Xfinity Series. Good for him. And let's see these comments. Hello, Austin. Hello, Micah. Is watching the lead. I look up and see the roof number. Yes, once again, a freaky crash. This is 3 years in a row we've had a pretty freaky crash at Daytona in the opening weekend. Obviously, 2020 was Ryan Newman, his crash. Last year was Brad Keselowski going up into the catch fence. Fireball, and then this year Myatt Snider. So hopefully we don't see anything that bad tomorrow. They have lowered the speeds of the cars for the Cup Series, at least for the super speedway, so there's less likelihood of the cars going airborne. I mean, you're going 180 miles, 190 miles an hour, there's still a chance of you going airborne, but there's less of a chance now, thanks to them taking the speed off. So yeah, just those accidents are always freaky. Truly, at the first instant, it reminded me of the Ryan Newman crash, but then, looking at the replays, it reminded me of the Kyle Larson crash from, 2013 in the Xfinity Series, when his front end at the last lap, he went through the tri-oval, and the front of his car got completely ripped off. No engine, no front wheels or tires. I mean, the front of the car was completely ripped off when he hit the catch fence. So, catch fence is very... it saves people from the outside, but it does create some scary crashes for the drivers and stuff as well. So, also great to see Myatt Snider walk out of that crash. I mean, I don't know how. It's crazy that he did, considering how bad that crash was. But props to NASCAR for how safe they make those cars and how safe, just everything in the sport has been over the last 20 years or so. NASCAR's really improved the safety. One of the safest motorsports in the world, I want to say. So, pretty crazy, pretty intense stuff in the Xfinity Series. But it was a decent race. Micah said he thought it was pretty average. So, yeah, I mean, the Xfinity Series, I feel like their plate races are hit or miss. Sometimes they have really good ones. Sometimes they have, pretty dull ones, and it takes till the end of the race for something to happen, and it sometimes becomes a little ugly. But overall, nothing too crazy, I want to say. Mike Snyder's been released from the what's it called? From the infield care center, so that's good. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But Snyder's sitting in golf carts doing interviews, so I guess he's talking that to people. That's good. I don't know, where he's at, but yeah, just trying to see if there's any new information. It doesn't look like it, but just a crazy crash. I mean, seriously, his car was like, look how high up in the air it was. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, so thankfully, I mean, hopefully he's all right. He got checked and released from the infield care center. I don't know if he's going to have more tests done or anything, but I mean, it's just amazing that he walked away from that. It really is. It's so crazy. It's, how safe these cars are, so that's a good thing, though, how safe the cars are. It's just those wrecks are always freaky. So, yeah, especially there were people sitting back there, and, it was a team sitting back there, 23-11, Michael Jordan, Bubba Wallace. But, yeah, that's pretty freaky. All right, back to the comments here. Mike Snyder has been released from the infield care center. Yeah, I saw that. Bye, nice seeing y'all. Should be back for the next stream. All right, good seeing you, Austin. And the car literally cleared the wall. Yeah, it did clear the wall. I mean, the front and the back hit the catch fence, and at one point the car was standing up on its nose, kind of, in the air, So that's... It's crazy. It really is. It's really crazy that happened, and it's just mind-blowing how safe the cars are. But very thankful that the cars are that safe because, golly, I mean, that truly could have been so much worse. But thankfully it was not much worse. But overall, we were talking about the race itself, right? I enjoyed it, It got a little bit, I don't want to use the term dull, but, it's a super speedway, and they didn't want to wreck each other early, so they did single file, and they kind of calmed down, and they waited till the end of the stages, into the race, to kind of go for anything. And, from that aspect, it was all right. But near the end of the stages, near the end of the race, there was some good racing going on. Guys switching lines, guys side drafting, guys trying to get some momentum going. And, Austin Hill, to get that win, he made some really, really good moves. Got that huge push out of turn 2, going down the back stretch to take the lead. I mean, that was a great move by him. Allmendinger was kind of, he went up top to block, but Austin Hill had so much momentum that he just dove to the bottom to pass him, and then the crash happened. But I would have been curious to see how the run to the checkers would have been. Would Hill have gotten too far out in front? Would Allmendinger be able to get a push from someone else? Would someone else get a push potentially? What was going to happen? But Austin Hill gets his first Xfinity win. His first start in Xfinity. Not his first start in Xfinity, but his first start for Richard Childress in Xfinity, and he wins. So a big deal for him. He's got some truck wins in his career. So he is no stranger to NASCAR victory lane, but this is his first time in Xfinity Series victory lane. So really cool to see him go to victory lane. He's a pretty good driver. Cool to see RCR go to victory lane in the Xfinity Series. And also, I think Sheldon Creed got a top 5. So really good day for RCR in the Xfinity Series. So we'll see if that luck transfers over to Cup tomorrow for RCR. But I'll look at the results, and then while that's loading, let's see here. Unfortunate for Daniel Hemrick, and after all that teaming up and working together, the Kaulig cars did all race. Only one of them finished in the top 10. Yeah, I think Landon Castle was a part of that last lap crash. Allmendinger obviously finished second after getting past there at literally the last second. And then Hemrick, he got a penalty, but he was already in the back after they fixed some damage, and he got involved in a crash. So unfortunate for him. But that crash, to me, I feel like no one's talked about it, but the 38 should have just, kept spinning inside. You don't want to hit the inside wall, obviously, but you'd rather spin down the track into nothing versus spinning back up the track into traffic and causing a 10-car pileup. So, I guess that's not my place to judge. I don't know completely what happened, but just from my fan perspective, I feel like, maybe spin more inside. That crash might not happen. But then again, you never know what was going on in the cars, so who knows? If the car was going more straight and didn't clip the fence, the car would have got close to a full backflip, because holy hell, that is one of the highest blowovers I've ever seen. Yeah, so you're saying that would have been like, Brendan Gaughan, he was spinning sideways when he did his flip, but, you know, I think it was Ty Dillon in 2013. He got hit because he spun, and when he came back up the track, he got hit. And he almost did a full, like, 360, but with the front of the car doing a flip. So, maybe that's it, what you're talking about. But, yeah, I get what you're saying there, but, you know, thankfully the catch fence was there to protect anyone on the outside. And thankfully, once again, Myatt Snider's okay. I mean, that's just such a freaky wreck. I mean, anytime a car goes in the catch fence and you see flames, like, I mean, my heart skipped a beat when I saw the flames, too. You know, a car in the catch fence is scary enough, but to see flames, especially last year in the 500 and then this, I mean, golly. I mean, those are just such scary crashes. You hate to see crashes like that. Brandon Brown got a top 10. Yeah, good for him. He's the most recent. Prior to today, he was the most recent Super Speedway winner. He won at Talladega in the fall. Got to be there for that. That was cool. But yeah, he gets top 10. Good for him. Speaking of, before I get to the next comments, I'm going to go through some of the results here. As I said, Austin Hill's the winner. Great rookie debut for Richard Childress Racing in the Xfinity Series. Allmendinger second. Load. Gragson third. Riley Herbst fourth. I picked him to win. I was kind of hoping he'd do something on it last lap, but he didn't get the chance. Darn. Allgaier fifth. Creed sixth. Alfredo seventh. Alfredo was like 2 or 3 laps down because on lap like 5, his right side window flew out of the car, and you have to have one of those at super speedways or something, and so he had to serve a penalty. They had to get a new window. And he ends up coming back and finishing in the top 10. He got a few free passes and finishes in the top 10. How about that for Anthony Alfredo? Ryan Segan 8th. Josh Bilicki 9th. Good for him. Brandon Brown 10th, as we said. Ty Gibbs makes his full-time Xfinity debut. Finishes 11th. Landon Castle, part of the crash on the last lap, finishes 14th. No other significant finishers, I would say. But, yeah. So I guess that's the Xfinity race. We pretty much covered everything there. So let's see what the comments have to say. Austin Hill is pretty good at super speedway racing. He usually ran up front during trucks at super speedway races. He won Daytona. So I guess it's not too much of a surprise. But once again, really cool to see. Really good for him to see him getting that win. And he got all that beef. Hello, David. How's it going? Hope you're having a good evening. Hope you enjoyed the race tonight. And then John says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared were you when you saw that crash? I would say, you know, when I saw the car in the air, a 4 or a 5, because, you know, cars in the air at these tracks happen a lot. But then when I saw them in the fence, it was up to 7 or an 8. And then when I saw the flames, it was a 9 or a 10. Because, you know, in the air, that happens. And depending on how you land, you usually should be good. The driver should be safe. Then, you know, you hit the catch fence, and that's always dangerous. You know, 2015 Austin Dillon, he literally went from 190 in the air to stop like that from the catch fence, and he was fine. So the catch fence is dangerous for sure, but, you know, there's definitely been instances where drivers have still been okay after pretty freaky accidents. So it was still a little bit more scary, but then I saw the flames, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'm, like, not going to leave until I see this guy get out of the car or they give some type of update. So, yeah, that was freaky. So that's kind of my range. At first, it was like a 3 or 4. Then it was like a 7 or 8. And then it was a 9 or 10 once the flames came along. I picked Chase Elliott to win the Daytona 500, says David. And also hello to Parker. I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Elliott, he finished second last year in the 500. That's his best finish at the 500. That was wild. Yeah, Mandude 03. That was wild. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Evan Thomas says he's also going to pick Chase Elliott to win the Daytona 500. And we got a non-Chase Elliott pick here. Micah picks Eric Almirola in his final Daytona 500 for Stewart-Haas Racing. That would be quite the story, to get some redemption after 2018. Obviously, 2018 wasn't his fault, but it would be redemption. When I saw that wreck, I was concerned that he had gotten hit driver's side, but thankfully that didn't happen and he walked away. Yeah, I didn't even think about getting hit driver's side. I was so concerned about the flames and the catch fence there. What a crazy finish. Yes, a very crazy finish there. Saints NASCAR fan. That was That was absolutely insane. I mean, man. The catch fence part and the flames were crazy. Yep, for sure. Just very scary. Always, anytime you see flames around a NASCAR, especially in such a high speed crash at Daytona or Talladega, flames aren't usually good. So yeah, it was good to see him walk away. It happened in front of Bubba Wallace. Yeah, at the very within the first 5 minutes of the stream, I looked up the Twitter pictures that Bubba had posted of the catch fence, and you could see where they, the green American ethanol thing where they put the fuel, and that was actually up still in the catch fence. And then there were a couple big holes in the catch fence, but Michael Jordan was there with him too. I didn't know he was at the race. Thought that was pretty interesting. Let's see, that finish was wild. The fire did it for me. Yeah, basically everyone's got the same thoughts that the finish was wild, and the flames in the catch fence pretty much scared the crap out of everyone, I would say. So yeah, I mean, once again, really good to see Myatt Snider get out of that car. I mean, I'm still shocked that he got out of that car. I mean, it's truly amazing how safe those race cars are, because they're still going 200 miles an hour. They're still crashing at very heavy impacts. They're flying through the air. It's crazy. It truly is. But a great testament to NASCAR on how far they've come in terms of safety. Obviously, this weekend, the anniversary of Dale Earnhardt's death, and that's been the last death in NASCAR. You don't want to see anyone die in a race car, obviously, but it's always a risk. But NASCAR's taken some big steps in terms of safety, and everything has been, pretty good so far. Yes, there's been injuries and stuff. Yes, there's been some scary crashes, but, all those drivers who got injured have indeed come back. Eric Almirola came back from his back injury. Kyle Busch came back from his broken legs. Ryan Newman came back from his injury. So, as scary those crashes were, as scary as those injuries are, and you don't want to see those drivers are still here today. They're still walking. They're still racing, in fact. I mean, heck, Kyle Busch went on to win 2 NASCAR Cup Series championships after his 2 broken legs. Eric Almirola's gone on to win Cup races since his injury. Ryan Newman, he raced a full season after that in 2021, and he's not in the Cup Series anymore. But, he's still racing some dirt stuff, I think. So, yeah, pretty freaky stuff. But anyways, Todd Gilliland with the debut win question, or Harrison Burton doing the Trevor Bayne win trick? All right, let's talk about the Daytona 500. That was mentioned yesterday during the duels. And I thought that was a very good point about Harrison Burton. It would be his second career start in the Cup Series. Trevor Bayne was making his second career start in the Cup Series for the Wood Brothers, just like Harrison Burton is doing when he won the Daytona 500 11 years ago, and it's going to be on the same day of the 2011 Daytona 500. So, it's possible that Harrison Burton could replicate, and we know how good the Fords are at Daytona and how good Team Penske is, and obviously the Wood Brothers are an affiliate of Team Penske, so it's possible. It's definitely possible. As for Todd Gilliland, Todd Gilliland, he's won some NASCAR races before. He's won Truck Series races, so he knows how to get it done in NASCAR. And, his team won the Daytona 500 last year, so it's very possible he's got a great teammate in terms of reference, in terms of getting advice for the super speedways. So, it could happen if things go his way. It very well could happen. Let's see. Did Justin finish 5th? If you mean Allgaier, then yes, Allgaier finished 5th. He has a really cool car this year because they did the 7, but it's like little corn kernels that do the 7 instead of just a blank yellow 7. It's very clever. Upset win tomorrow. I'm trying to think. So actually, I was talking to someone about this yesterday, about big underdog wins in terms of, yeah, sure, the name of the driver, but looking up the odds, the betting odds for it. I think Bayne was 80-1 to win the 500 the year he won it. McDowell was 66-1. And then the craziest one, this isn't the Daytona 500, but Chris Buescher, when he won at Pocono, he was 1,000-1 to win that race because, obviously that's not a super speedway. There's not a lot of upset winners at Pocono, but, so they were 1,000-1. So, some shock winner at a track like that. Yeah, so who knows? In fact, What are the odds for tomorrow's race? 2022 Daytona 500 odds. Very curious to see what this is. All right, going to CBS Sports here. If it would load. So we got Hamlin at 9-1, Elliott at 10-1, Larson at 10-1. Those are some of the favorites. Down to some of the underdogs. The lowest is 1,000-1, which is B.J. McLeod, Cody Ware, and Jacques Villeneuve. And then it's 200-1 for Todd Gilliland, who we just talked about. 150-1 for Kaz Gralla. 125-1 for Landon Castle. 100-1 for LaJoy and Gregson. 75-1 for Reagan and Burton. Harrison Burton, 75-1. If he repeats what Trevor Bang did, someone's going to get some money. Ty Dillon, Eric Jones also at 75-1. Greg Biffle is at 60-1. Very interesting. Some, really good super speedway racers who I think you could look out for. McDowell at 40-1. Haley at 40-1. Hemrick at 50-1. And then Stenhouse at 33-1. Busher at 30-1. It's not bad odds there. Let's see. Go back to the comments here. Thank the Lord, Marty's kid walked away. Yeah, he is Marty Snyder's kid. I forget that sometimes. But yeah, very thankful that he's okay. Wouldn't be surprised if the RFK boys got the dub. Still hoping my front row guys get a dub, though. LOL. Yes, the RFK guys have looked really good on the super speedways, especially this weekend. But even in their down years, Roush Fenway has always been good on the super speedways. Their most recent win is at a super speedway. Their most recent stage win's at a super speedway. If I had to guess, their most recent top 5 is probably on a super speedway. I mean, Stenhouse, he was always great at the super speedways with them. Busher has been good at the super speedways with them. Ryan Newman was always good at the super speedways with them. He almost won Talladega in 2019. He almost won the 2020 Daytona 500. So Roush Fenway's always been good at the super speedways, even in their down years the past couple of years. So it's not too big of a shock to see them up front at the Daytona Speed Weeks. Let's see. Ford seems to be at the top of their game. Yeah, I mean, it always seems to be Chevy will be the best qualifiers, especially Hendrick Motorsports. But then they'll crash out in the race or something, and it'll be a Ford or Toyota. And, last year it was a Ford. 2020, 2019 was a Toyota. 18 was Austin Dillon. 17 was a Ford. 16 was a Toyota. 15 was a Ford. So Ford and Toyota have really kind of owned the Daytona 500 in terms of winning, but you look at who's led a lot of laps. Hamlin's led a lot of laps in the last few Daytona 500s. Blaney, I think, led a lot of laps, and it was 19 or 20. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy to see how good Ford and Toyota are. But Ford should be good. They're showing a lot of speed this weekend. Multiple teams as well, with Penske, with RFK, even Stuart Haas at times with Almirola. Eric Jones guy may be upset. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got a super speedway win. He's looked good before. His odds are, what did I say? They were 75-1. I somehow had a feeling that McDowell would win last year and bet money on him, which I never do. If I had to bet on a driver, it would be my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney. Blaney's one of the most underrated super speedway racers, I would say. He's got 3 wins at super speedways in his career. 1 at Daytona, 2 at Talladega. He's led a ton of laps at Daytona and Talladega. Even when he hasn't won, he's come inches away from winning the Daytona 500. I mean, the guy is really, really good at these super speedways. He knows how to work. He's been around 2 of the best super speedway racers in NASCAR for most of his career with Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. So, I mean, he could be, once, some of these guys retire, Keselowski and Hamlin, once they retire, Blaney could be the guy at the super speedways. So that could be interesting to see, but I could definitely see him winning tomorrow. I'll make my pick here in a minute. It might be a little bit shocking, honestly, but yeah, curious to see who you guys want to see win the Daytona 500 or who you think will win the Daytona 500. We've seen a wide variety of picks here. We've seen Chase Elliott. We've seen Ryan Blaney here. We've seen some mentions of Todd Gilliland, Harrison Burton, if they could pull off the upset. We've seen Eric Almirola picked. So, Very curious to who you guys think are going to win the Daytona 500, or who you think is going to have a strong chance, or if you just think your favorite driver is going to win, go for that as well. Trackhouse boys are strong, yeah. Chastain and Suarez have shown a lot of speed this weekend in single car qualifying. Chastain looked good in the duel. I can't remember about Suarez. I think he was looking good in his duel as well. Rick Hendrick's sweeper Daytona 500. That's difficult to do, but I would love to see it. I'm a Hendrick Motorsports fan, so I would love to see that. But setting my expectations low, they seem to find a way to crash out of the 500 every year. Last year, they actually had 2 cars finish. Elliott finished runner-up. I think Larson finished 11th or 12th. Or maybe he got 10th. Maybe. But, yeah, curious to see how they do. Okay. Should I make my pick now, or should I wait for some more people to make their picks on here? I hope McDowell pulls something crazy off again to get that double. If McDowell wins another last lap crash, like splitting the middle of a crash, like the Red Sea parts or something, I'll laugh. I'll laugh pretty hard. But, I mean, he could just straight up win it because he's good enough at super speedways. He almost won Talladega in the spring last year. So he's always been a good super speedway racer. But finally last year, just like everything went perfectly for him. He went into the last lap 3rd or 4th. He was able to get up to 3rd or whatever. And then, Joey Logano just kind of did a Joey Logano thing and wrecked himself and his teammate. And McDowell ended up just saying, oh, thank you very much. Trophy time. So, yeah. All right. I think I'm going to make my pick now. So, I could go with a favorite. I could go with one of the best super speedway racers, someone who's won a lot at Daytona, someone who's won Daytona 500s before, a Denny Hamlin, a Joey Logano, someone who's really good at super speedways but hasn't quite won the Daytona 500 before, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski. I could pick a guy who's had some good runs at Daytona but hasn't quite won at Daytona at all, or the Daytona 500, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, or I could go with a complete underdog and go with someone like Michael McDowell, Justin Haley. Go completely crazy and pick someone like BJ McLeod, because get loud for McLeod, ladies and gentlemen, but this is who's going to win. On Sunday, at whatever time the race finishes, this man will be stepping on the top step of the podium, I mean victory lane. He will be standing there with his super baggy fire suit, because he just likes to have the loose-fitting fire suit. And "O Canada" will be blasting from the speakers. The Canadians will be rejoicing at his victory. It will be the beginning of Jacques Villeneuve world domination. He will win the NASCAR Cup Series championship. He won't have to race in the other 35 races this year. He will clinch the championship in the Daytona 500. Jacques Villeneuve's winning the Daytona 500. That's not actually my pick. I just really wanted to talk about Jacques Villeneuve for a second. And, just think about if he won the Daytona 500, how awesome that would be. But for real, though, my pick, he has been so bad at Daytona 500s, you think the luck would have to fall in his way at some point. It's his last race in the Daytona 500 with his sponsor. He's been talking about it all week, how great it would be to get his sponsor, a win, finally. I think Kyle Busch, in the first race in the new car, finally gets his Daytona 500. He's had awful luck in the Daytona 500. He's found every way to crash. He's freaking blown an engine out of the lead. He has had terrible luck at the Daytona 500. His last Daytona 500 with M&M's, a brand new car. Why not Kyle Busch? Why not? Kyle Busch, why not? I think he finally gets it done. So, yeah, Kyle Busch. I mean, with these super speedways, sometimes it really is just a guessing game, but I'm going with my gut here, my gut feeling. You can't look at the numbers you can look at the numbers a little bit, but if you look at the numbers too much for a Daytona Talladega, sometimes it can completely mess you up. But, this one, it's just like, it's got to go right for him at some point, right? And I think this is the year. So I think Kyle Busch wins the 2022 Daytona 500. Jacques Villeneuve is a great pick. I mean, he already has a championship patch. Yeah, he does. I mean, they covered it in duct tape, but you know what? If he wins the 500, I hope he just gets out of the car and just rips the thing off and it just says Cup Series champion after he rips it off. That'd be hilarious. You like the pick? You might get it done. Thank you, Linder. Leander. Kevin Harvick maybe pulls it off. Yeah, it's been 15 years since he's won his 500. Wow. 15 years. Jeez. He could get it done for sure. Harvick did call Burton an idiot at the duels. I must have missed that. I heard someone say Cascarala because Mayweather is undefeated. Oh boy. They might have to put a -1 on Cascarala's car when they try to enter at COTA. I mean, that'd be a cool story, but let's be honest. I don't think it's gonna happen. If it does happen, that's gonna be a very popular diecast with all the colors they have on that thing. Oh, it's gonna be a tough diecast to make too for whoever has to make that. Oh. William Byron wins the Daytona 500. As a Jeff Gordon fan, I would love to see the Exalted 24 win the Daytona 500. That would make my year. So if that happens, I would be extremely happy. Jeff Gordon, I hope he's at the track. I hope he's like in victory lane. And you know what? They better put him on top of the car at some point for that. Just because I'm a Jeff Gordon fan and it makes me happy. Leander, you almost got it. I'm sorry. It looks, the way it's spaced out, I saw lean and then der. And then I was like, maybe it's like the N is silent and it's leader. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But okay. Lee and got it. Harvick called Burton an idiot because he didn't help him get back into the draft, which was really funny at the time. Burton's not your teammate, Kevin. So why are you complaining? That's what I have to say on that matter. I mean, you be you, Kevin, but it's a bold strategy. Oh, man. I really hope it's not like last year's 500. You know, last year they crashed on like lap 14, and the rest of the way everyone was scared to wreck, and so they just ran in a single file line the whole time, and nothing happened the rest of the race until the last lap. I really hope that they, you know, they don't wreck each other, but, you know, they are a little bit more racier throughout the race versus last year. It's been 21 or 22 years since the 24 won the Daytona 500. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Gordon won in 05. That was his last 500. 2005, so 17 years. Yeah, it's almost been 20 years. Wow. That was a long time ago. I don't know why, but I feel it'll be Keselowski and Busch at the end. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine, like, the field starts, like, just, you know, messing each other up, and all of a sudden you have a two-car tandem of Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, like, coming out of turn 4. Everyone starts wrecking behind him. There's just a huge smoke cloud, and just Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch side by side for the Daytona 500. Or better yet, one of them, it's one-on-one, and one of them wrecks each other for the 500. Golly. That would be the automatic story of the year. And I think there would, if Keselowski wrecked Kyle, it would honestly, I think there'd be a fight in victory lane, which honestly would be like, that'd be epic. So I don't hope it comes down to that, but if it did happen, that would be pretty interesting. I think it'll be a train like 2013 because of the new cars. Yes, 2013. Only thing I remember about that is that Jimmy won. I couldn't tell you who led in lap 1. Like, I don't even remember the first lap. All I remember is Jimmy Johnson led, like, the whole last lap and never had a threat. Kind of boring. Or you could have a Kale and Donnie moment. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Keselowski and Kyle Busch finally have their opportunity to win, and they wreck each other out as the top two, as everyone else is wrecking, and then, like, You know, here comes, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a random driver. Here comes Landon Castle out of turn 4 through the smoke to pass Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, spinning each other to win the 500. It'll be a Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski tandem versus Logano and Truex tandem for the win. No, sub out Truex for Hamlin. Hamlin and Logano hate each other more than Logano and Truex. That would be funny. Would Logano help his ex-teammates? No, you got to force him. You got to get him in a position where it's like they're forced to go with their arch nemesis. Hamlin's forced to push Logano, and Keselowski's forced to push Kyle Busch or something, or, you know, one of them tries to wreck one of them into the other. Golly. Danica Patrick, Daytona 500 first lap. I guess she led the first lap. Interesting. Oh, yeah, wasn't that the year she won the pole? Forgot about that. Dang, that's been almost 10 years. Golly, that's making me feel old. I'm not even old enough to feel old. That was I don't like that. That doesn't feel like it was that long ago. Oh my. That's messing with my brain. Boy, oh boy. Jeez. Let's see if anything. Oh yeah, Logano's got to drop to the rear for a car change, and then Jacques Villeneuve has to drop to the rear for, yeah, an engine change or something like that. Oof. Oh, NASCAR. They just posted this thing. It says the driver you screenshot will win the Daytona 500. Who did you get? All right, I'm gonna play it here. It's going very rapidly, and I'm gonna click, and whoever I click here is winning the Daytona 500. No questions asked. Ready? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yes! Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is winning the Daytona 500. Let's go! Stenhouse! Golly, that would be legendary. Oh, man. Oh, that would be so awesome. Oh, man. If Stenhouse wins the 500, I'm going to lose it. Oh, my gosh. That's so awesome. Dude, everyone's got to root for Stenhouse now. No questions asked. I don't care who your favorite driver is. We got to root for Stenhouse now. Oh, man. Who's your top 5 NASCAR busts in the last 5 years? I guess Danica's in the past 5 years, so I'll put her in there. She's a talented driver. She actually did pretty decent in IndyCar, but the NASCAR project did not work out. Trying to think of teams who's had guys like quickly in and out. I don't want to say Suarez. I mean, he had 2 top tier opportunities and he didn't do anything, but I'm not going to say him because I really just think he wasn't ready at the time, so I don't want to call him a bust. Man, this is tough. This really is a tough one. Man. I guess Jimmy at the end of his career, if that counts. I love the guy, but he wasn't great at the end. All right. Yeah, I'd have to think about that one more, but very good question. Very good question. I just can't think of any. Does Dale Jr. end of his career count? No. No. We are not doing this today, YouTube. Get these bots out of here. Please. Get out of here. Where's the bot option for the unwarranted comment or spam? You know what that? Yeah. Get that spam out of here. Yeah. Leave. Goodbye, bot. Bye. Never come back.
Nobody loves you, bot. Okay. Back to questions. Gragson might be a good long shot pick. Yes. Beard has actually been very good in the 500 with Brendan gone. And Gragson, if he can survive, who knows? Who knows? Do you think the pack will spread out when they do live pit stops, or will the pack stay together after the green flag stops? Michael McDowell seemed to think, he said in some press conference that he doesn't think that Thursday's duels were an indicator for Sunday's race. He thinks that he just thinks that it won't end up being like that. So I'll listen to the driver in that case. I think they stay in somewhat of a pack. Jeff Gordon and Danica Patrick. I hope you're not calling Jeff Gordon a bust. We're going to have problems here. Plus, he's not last 5 years, so... Well, okay, technically he is. Because he subbed for Junior for like 8 races in 2016. Actually, no, because it's 2022 now, so that's 6 years. So, no, Jeff Gordon is not in the last 5 years. Golly, it's been 6 years since we've had Jeff Gordon in a race car. That one hurts. Yeah, that hurts. I'm not gonna lie, that like hurts my soul deeply. Well, boy. Just a couple more questions, and then I gotta eat something. What track would you like to see the 24 go back to victory lane other than the Daytona 500? Martinsville. Martinsville for sure. Martinsville's the top of my list. A race that I'm at. I would love to see the 24 win in person. A road course. More specifically, Sonoma or Watkins Glen. Indianapolis. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, Indianapolis. That's the top one. Indianapolis, I don't care if it's the oval or road course. Got to see it can't be the Liberty 24. It can't be the Valvoline 24. The Exalta 24 at Indianapolis has got to be in victory lane. That's got to happen again. So, no pressure, Byron, but if that doesn't happen, failure. Absolute failure. Doesn't have to happen this year. It just has to happen while you're in the 24. And Hendrick, you better make every Indianapolis the Exalta 24. I don't want to see Liberty or Valvoline as the primary spot. In fact, I can look this up right now. This is very important for Hendrick Motorsports. Hendrick Sports sponsor schedule. Here we go. Race schedule. No, yes, the Daytona 500 is this week. Thank you, Hendrick Motorsports. Very cool. Indianapolis Road Course. All right, moment of truth. Oh, they haven't announced what the 24 is for Indianapolis. It better be Exalta. I don't care what kind of Exalta. If you want to do your special color of the year, Exalta better be on the car for Indianapolis, or we are going to have problems, Hendrick. I will write an angry letter. Not an angry letter, but a stern letter. Yes. Those are my top options, though. Rick Hendrick said he wants to have Elliott and Byron in the organization forever. I hope he said the same about Larson. I mean, that 4 is a really good 4. There's no particularly weak link, per se, because Bowman, even though he wasn't as consistent, he won more than everyone but Larson last year, whereas Elliott and Byron were just more consistent. So, I don't know. I swear if Byron has the wins of Bowman and the consistency of last year, or if Bowman has the wins of Byron while having the wins of, I think even the consistency of Byron while having the wins of last year, either of them can win the championship. That's very true. Very true. That's basically like Elliott, what Elliott was last year, but 2 less wins. Because Because Elliott was consistent, but he couldn't win as much. But he won more than Byron. So, yeah. All right. Let's see here. Is there anything else? One last opportunity. See if anyone else has any outlandish, crazy, or normal, or not crazy questions. Let's see here. Anyone? 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 Anyone got anything? It can be about anything. It can be, how does Jack Villeneuve win the Daytona 500? How does Justin Haley win the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series championship? It can be BJ McLeod championship, Daytona 500 dub confirmed. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very possible. There's a 1 in 40 chance, mathematically. Napa Auto Parts to the 18, I heard rumors. Why would they do that? They're sponsoring the most popular driver they've been with for, what, 8 years? And now they're going to go to, like, the most polarizing driver? That's a bold strategy, but all right. They'd sell a lot of merch to Kyle Busch fans. But I got to look this up. Let's see. Napa, Kyle Busch. I'm not seeing anything. All right. Well, if that is all, then we will call this a night. I'm looking forward to the Daytona 500 tomorrow. No, we got one. We got a question. Just kidding. Do you also think Tyler Reddick will have a breakout year this year? Yes. Absolutely, definitely. I think he gets multiple wins this year. He could be a sleeper pick for the Final Four, because if he makes it to the round of 8, Homestead is in that round of 8, and we know how good he is there and how close he's come to winning there. So if he gets into the round of 8, he could be a championship 4 guy. You never know. So very good question, but I think this is Reddick's year. He's going to get some wins, and he could potentially make a deep run in the playoffs. So, yeah. Reddick versus Byron, new rivalry? Too early to tell. They haven't won enough to have a rivalry, really. Anyways, I'm looking forward to the Daytona 500 tomorrow. I hope it's a good race. I really do. I hope it's not like last year, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that one. I'll do my normal post-race video stuff on that whenever it may come out, whenever the race may finish. I don't think there's a chance of rain, so it should be tomorrow. But yeah, once again, very much looking forward to the race, and that's all I got right now. So thanks for tuning in to the live stream. If you enjoyed it, thank you for enjoying it. I hope your questions got answered. We got to talk about some fun things, but yeah, once again, have a good night.